Another strange story. Here we have a 1 second. I did the wrong thing. 1 second. Give me a minute here. Story. There was a rabbi, and his name was Rabbi. According to the story, his name was Rabbi Schwartz. Rabbi Schwartz, and Rabbi Schwartz, he was a rabbi, I think, in Romania or someplace. And after the war, he came to America in the 40s, the late 40s. And he didn't know exactly which direction to take. If he should be, he knew English a little bit, knew Yiddish, knew Romanian, maybe a couple of other languages, but he didn't know exactly what to do. Should he be a teacher? Should he be a rabbi? He was a talented person. So someone told him, you want to know what to do? Ask the Lubavitcher Rebbe. At that time, Lubavitcher Rebbe was the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, was Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak. So he went to the Lubavitcher Rebbe and he told him the whole story and he asked him, I can do this, I can do that. What should I do? So the previous Rebbe said, go and ask my son-in-law. And so the son-in-law, that of course is our Rebbe. In those days, they would call the Rebbe, they called him the Ramash, Rabbi Menachem Schneerson. They called him the Ramash. They said, go and ask my son-in-law. So his son-in-law, our Rebbe, he had a room in the offices over there. So he went to see him. And he told him his whole story. So the Rebbe said, I think you should go to Brazil. Then in Brazil, there's a big need for a girls' school. So Brazil, they speak Portuguese over there. They didn't know Portuguese. So, Brazil, to be a teacher, I don't think he'd ever been a teacher before. But he said, I'll think about it. Good, okay. So he thought about it and he decided, or he got an offer. A friend of his suddenly gave him an offer that he could go to Brazil and he could. So he thought, this is pretty amazing. He gave me this advice in Brazil. So he said, okay, I'll try it out. So he went there and he picked up the language a lot faster than he thought. And he saw that there was a tremendous need for a girls' school. And he opened up a girls' school and there was like 500 girls within the course of, 5-6 years. I mean, the numbers might not be exact, but the story is pretty much. This is the way I heard it. So after 5 years, 10 years, he had a school with like 500 girls in it, 500 Jewish girls. And without that, they would not have had any Jewish education. They wouldn't. So meanwhile, the previous Rebbe passed away. And the Rebbe, he became the Rebbe, right? His son-in-law, he became the Rebbe. And they were sort of in contact. He wrote regularly. Anyway, so there came a crisis. That's where the story sort of really begins. A distraught couple came in to Rabbi Schwartz, and they said in his office, in Brazil, and they said, listen, our daughter learned by you in the institution. And she learned 5 years ago. And now she wants to get married to a non-Jew. And we're beside ourselves. We don't know what to do. So they explained, listen, we ourselves are not religious Jews. We're not observant Jews. But we never dreamed it would come to this. Now, Brazil is a very warm place. The people are very warm in Brazil. So it's very common that there should be intermarriage, because there's no reason why should Judaism be a barrier to warmth and friendliness and love. And Judaism is only there to add on things, not to take away marriage and love. Anyway, whatever the explanation, whatever the excuses are and the explanations are. So they said our daughter she wants to marry a non-Jew. And he's a very nice boy, very intelligent, but we never thought it would come to this, that she would get married. Can you do something, Rabbi? Can you do? So he said, well, is she willing to talk? She says, yeah, she's very open. very open, very friendly. You can call her up. So they called her up, and she said, "Hello." He said, "This is Rabbi Schwartz. Remember?" "Oh, yes, from the school. I remember you, Rabbi. Can I come and speak to you? I wanted to speak to you." So she said, "Oh, no problem, sure." I'm in such and such a place, wherever it was, or she came in to speak to him, whatever it was. However it was, so they spoke. And he explained to her in a nice way, in a friendly way, but in a very, exact and deep way, why it is not good for her to marry a non-Jew. And he talked and he talked and he talked. And he talked and he talked. And she listened to everything he had to say. And he occasionally said, are you, he said, yes, you said this. She repeated what. Finally, after like a half an hour of his speaking, so he didn't have any more to say. And she said, is that all, Rabbi? He said, just one moment. And another 5 minutes. He figured out something more. One more thing. Is that all, Rabbi? Yes. She said, thank you very much, Rabbi. I really appreciate it. And what you said, your words were very deep. And I say that they really came from your heart. And they're very convincing. But, I love Jose. And we want to get married. And we're going to get married. That's you're already married. I hope you're happy in your marriage. And I'm not married. And we love each other. And I want, and that's it. So thank you very much. And she leaves. So Rabbi Schwartz is all brokenhearted, and he doesn't know what to do. He really thought that he was having some effect, but no effect whatsoever. So he's thinking what to do. What can I possibly do? What can I do? So suddenly he thinks to himself, maybe I'll call up the Rebbe. He didn't think of this. I'll call up the Rebbe and I'll ask for advice on what to do. So he calls up the Rebbe, calls up the Rebbe's office, and he speaks to one of the Rebbe's secretaries, and he tells the whole story. And this Rebbe's secretary, I think it was Rabbi Chodakov, and he said, just one moment. And he came back and he said, you should go to this girl. The Rebbe spoke to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said that you should go back to her and speak to her again and tell her that because she wants to get married to a non-Jew, is that there's a rabbi in New York that can't sleep at night. So Rabbi Schwartz says, I spoke to her, I said some pretty good arguments, and she was, she agreed with what I said, but that doesn't seem to be much of a convincing argument, because there's some rabbi. Who is this rabbi? Speaking on the phone, who is this rabbi? So all of a sudden, the Rebbe breaks, and the Rebbe was listening to the whole conversation. He didn't know it. And the Rebbe said, his name is Menachem Schneerson. Can't sleep at night. So he said, okay, this is like a week after the first meeting, right? The first meeting, he's busy thinking, and all of a sudden after a week, he thinks, well, I should call the Rebbe. And he called up, he said, there's a rabbi that can't sleep at night. Good. He said, you go back and tell her that there's a rabbi that can't sleep at night. So, okay, he doesn't ask any questions. He calls up, hello. Yes, she says, hello. This is Rabbi Schwartz. Oh, hello, Rabbi Schwartz. I'd like to speak to you again. She said, Rabbi, listen, I think I was very nice to you. I gave you a half an hour of my time. I listened to every word you said. I understood everything you said. I told you what I feel in my decision. I don't think there's any point in us talking anymore. Please, Rabbi, just please leave me alone. Let me just go on with my life, and you go on with your life. So, no, this is very important. I promise you, it'll only take no more than 5 minutes. No more than 5 minutes of your time. I won't take up any more. She said, okay, Rabbi, listen. I'll make a concession. I work in such and such a place. My parents live 5 minutes from where I live, or her apartment, whatever live. It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow. Come to this apartment. I'll be there. I'll leave the door open. You won't have anything of yichud delivering it. And you can tell me in 5 minutes. That's all. 5 minutes. It was her parents' house. That's what her parents' house right near was. So I said, okay. So sure enough, the rabbi was there beforehand, and she comes in from work. She's got her coat on. She said, I'm not taking my coat off, Rabbi. Tell me what you have to say. 5 minutes. So he clears his throat, and he doesn't think about it too much. Because if he does, he won't say it. So he said, okay, because you want to get married to a non-Jew, there's a rabbi in New York that can't sleep at night. So she said, tell me, Rabbi, are you a normal person? I mean, do you have some sort of problem? That's why you brought me over here, to tell me that there's a rabbi that can't sleep at night in New York. What do I care? So I don't know any rabbis. The only rabbi I know is you. And I'm regretting that I know you. Leave me alone, Rabbi. If you don't leave me alone, I'm telling you, I'm going to call the police. She said, no, but you know who this rabbi is. I said, I don't know. I told you the only rabbi I know is you. And you're going to be arrested if you don't leave me alone. I said, well, 1 second. He told the parents, if you got a picture of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, they ran around. Somehow or other, they found a picture of she was already at the door. He said, is this rabbi? She says, I told you, leave me. She looks at the picture. Said, what? That rabbi can't sleep at night? So Rabbi Schwartz said, yeah, can't sleep. He has no idea what's going on. Yeah, he can't sleep at night. Said, that rabbi can't sleep at night because of me? Said, yeah, you know this rabbi? She said, let me sit down. Said, listen, I don't know that rabbi, but he must know me, because every night for the last week, as this rabbi has been coming to me in my dream and telling me not to marry Jose. I thought, I don't know any rabbis. I thought I was because I met you and I saw you, that you're the only rabbi I know. So I thought, I'm just dreaming about you. It's just, you're just repeating the words that you said. But now I realize that no, it's this rabbi. This rabbi has been coming to me in my dreams every night and telling me not to get married to Jose. And I said, where does he live? Where is he? In New York. I said, that's the rabbi in New York that can't sleep at night. The reason he can't sleep at night because he's busy coming into my dreams and telling me not to. So Rabbi Schwartz says, doesn't know what to say. What's he going to say? So she said, okay. You can tell this rabbi that I'll reconsider. I'm not going to say no, but I'll reconsider. And she called up Jose and she pushed off the wedding. They had a date for another, 2 months, pushed it off for another few months, and they pushed it off for a year, and then she pushed it off completely. So the point of the story is that somehow or other the Rebbe cares about individuals more than we can possibly imagine. There's the name of this Rabbi Schwartz and everything. I mean, the story is just, very amazing, but true story. So we see that every moment of life, even in our dreams, has the potential to fill with holiness. And it says about the future redemption that we will realize that we were like dreamers, that God will come to every Jew in their sleep and say, listen, be a Jew, and it'll wake up. And it's supposed to happen any instant now, and I'm sure it will happen. And Am Yisrael Chai, and Eretz Yisrael Chai, and Elokei Yisrael Chai, and Torah Yisrael Chai, and it'll be a lively place. The world will be a really good and beautiful place, and we'll have a good kosher marriage between the Jewish people and their husband, God, like it was in Mount Sinai. Have a good day with Mashiach now. See you all tomorrow.
Thank you. Beautiful.